Hey everybody, my name's Josh, and I've been delaying recording this video or any video for like 2.5 years. I've just had this massive blockage about sharing with a video, but at this point I finally feel like I just need to share what's inside my body and my heart, my mind. I just feel like I need to get it out there because it's been too crazy not to. The intentions of this video are to just put it out there, for it to be a consolation to anybody who's suffering immensely. And, I know everybody likes happy endings, but unfortunately this one hasn't gotten there yet. I think it will soon. I really do. I have faith. But basically, I'll try and keep this. It's going to be tough to keep this short, but I'll get into it right away. When I was 6 years old, I had Guillain-Barré, which is like an autoimmune disorder, and it almost killed me. And that's the first kind of challenge that I can remember with my health, with my body and my mind. When I was 13, I started experiencing like depressive symptoms. I went on some medications for a few months. Eventually, quit them cold turkey. I was like, fuck this. I don't understand how this could help me. And from the ages of like 18 to 23, I got really, really intense at whatever I did. Whether it was Warcraft, this video game, or wrestling, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or, trying to sleep with women, whatever it may have been. And I was just searching for the next fix. And I was really accomplished in the Western world. I was working at a great corporation, making good money. I was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Pan American and world champion. I had it all, from the outside. But inside I had this deep longing for more, this deep sadness and pain. And October 2013, when I was 23 years old, I just, one day, it was literally one day, I remember experiencing these neurological loops, these feelings of panic that I had never experienced before. And at that point in time, basically within minutes after experiencing this feeling, which only lasted a minute, I said to myself, holy shit, I know why people kill themselves. Now I know why. This must be what happens when people kill themselves. This, whatever this thing is, getting out of control. And basically, a few weeks after that, I felt like the floor had been swiped from underneath me. Totally lost my own inner voice. I was hearing like 4 different voices in my head. Panic attacks every day, debilitating panic attacks. And they didn't have to do with anything. They didn't have to do with, because I don't have enough money for this, or this girl rejected me, or because of this. It was just biochemical, spiritual insanity, panic, like as if it felt like I was dying. And that eventually led into complete despair. That happened. I was just going downhill and downhill and downhill for 3 or 4 months, and eventually, when every single car I saw on the street was a possible escape route to this hell, I said, all right, I gotta get Western help. I don't understand what's going on. This is bigger than me, and I no longer trust myself. I no longer trust myself to make decisions, so I gotta get help. So basically, I went to a psychiatrist, and I just couldn't believe the level of narrow-mindedness and the level of guess and check of like, oh, you have this? Okay, try this. If it doesn't work, come back. We'll try something else. And right away, I knew something was up. Like I had, after going through this 3 or 4 month pain process, I knew that something was missing from the Western paradigm of mental health. Like there's no way it's as simple as a chemical imbalance. There's more out there. There's something going on. There's something karmic or spiritual about this. And I began to understand that it was this like multi-generational spiritual sickness, almost like a virus, right? Like this, like it's passed through the bloodline, but it's also karmic. It's your own soul's karma. And but I couldn't help myself. I mean, I was eating healthy and I was exercising. I would exercise until like I felt like I had nothing left, just to get those endorphins going and try and achieve some level of stability. And eventually I gave up on myself to heal myself. I really did. And I went on medications for bipolar, anxiety, panic, and everything. Just this medication. All right, that doesn't work. Try this. And it was like a 4 or 5 month process where I was just like, this is a nightmare. And I was numb, floating around in like a suicidal state. I was just like, this is horrible. I can't live like this. Nor is this going to help me. Eventually, I started doing research on ayahuasca, and it just resonated with me. It just was like, all right, these natural plants are here for a long time. And these shamans have been here for a long time. The level of knowledge that they have is multi-generational, and something else is going on. So we're being lied to, and just the way that I saw the world, the way that I saw other people going about their lives with just in this rat race and in this total conditioned program. It was sickening to me. It was really sickening to me, and it was like this awakening concurrent with this horrible, horrible pain. So anyway, I had never done any hallucinogenic except for some weed, and I had some bad experiences with weed. But I just said, fuck it, I have to get to the root of this. I went to an ayahuasca ceremony. It was an absolute nightmare. I mean, just being confronted with what was living inside of me. This felt like a demon was living inside of me. And I did one ceremony. I was supposed to do 6. I left the center in a panic and despair like nothing else I've ever experienced. Literally walking around the airport begging people for like a Xanax or a Klonopin because I felt like I was going to die. And eventually I broke on the plane. I was just like, I literally broke on the plane. I was just like, I asked the flight attendants, like, please make an announcement for Xanax or, benzodiazepine in Spanish. And I was in the back of the plane just like crying, shaking, and having a fireman and nurse there. And it was a nightmare. And I went from there right to the Psych hospital. And the Psych hospital was really sad. It was just like, I can't believe this is how they treat people. And it was just awful. It was awful. And got pumped with medications, felt numb again, suicidal. But I knew almost a day after waking up in the hospital that I knew I had to go back to ayahuasca, that something was there for me to see and to go through. So a few days after getting out of the hospital, I made an appointment for like ketamine injections in New York City because I saw ketamine was there for help with people with depression. And I did 2 ketamine injections. The first one I was able to, like, for the first time in almost a year at that point, experience like a joy or like a positive thought or positive feeling. So that was good. And the second one was weird. I just felt like there was like entities around me. I felt very like negative, dark energies around me, and it felt very machine-like, and I didn't think it was good for me. So at that point, I stopped the ketamine and started just doing intense cleansing, colonics, enemas, fasting, as if my life depended on it. My life did depend on it. Just fasting, cleansing so much, my colon, eating perfectly according to the rules of, truffology, with the Tao art of food combining. Everything was just everything. This whole journey, I've just been so perfect and clean with everything. And almost to a fault, honestly. So anyway, I started doing mushrooms with my friend, to try and connect to something greater than me. And every time I did mushrooms, I would get hit with this wave of panic and pain and this like internal demon. It was just like a demon living inside of me. Like, what the fuck is this? And you know, just crying. Sometimes I would cry for 6 hours on mushrooms. It was never pleasurable, but I just felt like I had to go through this pain. I had to go through it, and eventually, I got to some resemblance of stability. But knowing that life couldn't possibly be this hard, I had made my vow to go back to ayahuasca, and I actually synchronistically met a beautiful woman who worked at a center, and I spent 4 months in the jungle. I did 21 ayahuasca ceremonies, and they were all difficult, but I was able to connect to the light. I was able to see just how powerful every single moment is. Every moment, right? It's like every single moment choosing to go into the light, to believe in light, to trust, to love myself. And I was crippled with anxiety, at no point in time did my anxiety go away. Sometimes for like 20 minutes it would go away. I would just be like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be a person, to live in this realm. And, I knew that ayahuasca had helped me. It was also really opened me spiritually, opened me to like what's going on in this world and just how bad it is and how crazy the what's going on is. There's most certainly an agenda for domination and control. I don't know what it is, but there's powers that be that are just trying to basically run human beings like lab rats and control them. And just look at the way everything is run. Healthcare is killing us. These wars for no reason. Money is ruling the world. People have no sense of compassion, no sense of community or love. Everybody's scared. Everybody's scared for money, scared all the time. We're just totally disconnected from nature, totally disconnected from what we are. We are all infinite spirits in a human experience, and we've just been totally severed from that. And so I just got really deep with the psyche, really deep with humanity, and it's not necessarily a fun place to go, especially when you don't have your internal resting point. And the shamans had told me that I need to do this dieta. This dieta is basically like an apprenticeship. They told me two things. They said, tú tienes grande problema y también tú tienes grande medicina. They kept saying, you have a big problem, but you have a big medicine inside of you. And I always felt like that. I always felt like I had this like ball inside of me that needed to get out to the world. Like it fucking needed to. It had to. And I just had this massive blockage. I was like, I can't share until I really achieve peace, until I really find myself. So for the next 8 months after ayahuasca, I had basically, my life was a full-time spiritual practice and a full-time Vipassana retreat. I had also done a Vipassana retreat after mushrooms, in between mushrooms and ayahuasca. It was extremely difficult. 10 days of meditation, really, really difficult. And so anyway, what I mean by that is I'll share parts of my journey, and it's hard to share all of it. This is all from the top of my head. I wanted to have notes, but I just spontaneously said, "Fuck it, I gotta do this." So basically, I felt like my world was like caving in at all times. It was like if I didn't breathe consciously and tell myself I loved myself at all seconds of the day, I would spiral out of control into this crazy land of pain and torture in my mind. And through ayahuasca, I had connected to my heart, which I clearly saw was just this empty vessel of nothingness and pureness, and just wanted to love in this world, just wanted to be in this world. But it had been so wrenched and crushed by my traumatic history and by the world. So but I had seen that that's who I really am, that I'm not just these thoughts, that there's more to me. I'm not this, I'm here. But it was a full-time job to try and connect to here on a daily basis. So what I mean by that is, here were some of my symptoms, right? Just debilitating neurological patterns, pathways that just spiral me out of control. Fight or flight at all moments of the day. I was hearing voices, but not audibly. It was like this, if I would go, I am so sensitive. It's sickening. It's so, I wish I had protection. I wish I knew how to protect myself. I would walk into a room, and I would leave the room, and the conversations and people's energies would be stuck to me, uncontrollably, no matter how much I tried to stay in my center. I would just walk into a grocery store. I would leave the grocery store feeling like I literally had spirits on my body and that they were all talking to me. It's like borderline schizophrenia, right? That's what the Western scientists would say. Oh, he hears voices, schizophrenia. But I know I don't match that, profile. So I would just hear these voices. I would get I would literally leave a room, or if I left work, I was caddying. I would leave caddying, and I would have to shake the people's hands. And after shaking their hands, I'd feel energy went right into my belly. And when I get home from work, I would literally throw up energy almost 3 or 4 times a week. And I wouldn't do it with my fingers. I would just literally just say, all spirit, all energy that's not me, get out now. I would command it to leave. And I would just push on my stomach, and I would just throw up like crazy. And this was happening to me all the time. And I was just like, what is this? What the fuck is this? This is terrifying. Who am I? Second here. Just want to make sure I'm still filming. Yeah. And so it was just absolutely terrifying. And my whole day, my whole day was just presence and love to myself. Everything, every action I did, I had to narrate to myself, okay, doing this, picking up fork, eating. I love you, Josh. I love you, brother. I love you so much. You're my hero. I love you. I'm so sorry what's happening to you. You're going to get through this all day, every day. Without that, I was lost. And it was just so exhausting. And I was 2 laxative teas every night because I had this insane gripping in my stomach that would just prevent me from pooping. And then if I didn't poop, the next day would be brutal. I felt like I couldn't even get out of bed because the energy was stored in my colon, its energy is physical in matter, poop. It's physical, but it's holding other stuff energetically. Just pure torture, just torture. And it just makes me sick to think about this, talk about it. But anyway, I was just able to see how this was really big spiritual problem, really big karmic problem. And that it wasn't just a Western label. It was so much deeper than that. There was nobody that I could compare my journey to. Nobody. Nothing I read about I could read and say, yeah, this, it was just, the only thing that made sense was a shamanic initiation almost, where I was just tormented until I accepted. So, those 8 months were spent making money, saving up for this dieta, this apprenticeship, where I would go into isolation and I would take this tree in conjunction with ayahuasca, and I would learn the essence of this tree, and I would learn how to become a shaman. And this whole time, just like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain this pain. Like, nothing in this realm could even grasp my attention for more than a few seconds. Like, no movie, no sometimes good song could, but nothing held my interest. Like, I didn't care about anything. Women, no drugs could mask the pain for me. Nothing worked. Nothing in this realm, no amount of money, nothing mattered. It was just this internal prison. So, eventually, 8 months of full-time cleansing, enemas, 3 coffee enemas a day, stretching all day, throwing up energy, vipassana all day, being conscious of every moment, loving myself all day, eating perfectly, salads, juices, fasting. I did a 9-day fast, a 6-day fast, multiple 4-day fasts. Everything I could possibly muster. Meditation, yoga, float tanks, binaural beats, everything imaginable, every supplement imaginable. I've probably tried hundreds of supplements. Parasite cleanses, heavy metal cleanses. So, eventually, I went and I did this dieta, and to me it was, I complete this dieta or I just die. I can't do this anymore. At this point, it was almost going on 2 years. How could I continue living like this? I mean, I had looked at myself in the mirror maybe 50, 100 times and said, holy shit, bro, how are you still alive? How have you not gone totally psychotic? And I've been close many times, but I've never lost it. I've never lost my sense of, I've been in total, utter panic, but I've never gone totally psychotic. So, I did the dieta, and I lasted about 3.5 weeks. It was supposed to be 3 months, and it was pure torture. I was very stagnant in the jungle. I was eating very different foods than what I had been used to. I wasn't allowed to drink the laxative teas because it was against the dieta. I was just blocked and choked. All my energy was stuck in my body, and I just felt like I was about to die. I had to give up. I had to stop. I couldn't possibly continue. And I left. And I still, to this day, I don't have anything bad to say about ayahuasca, because ultimately my pain and crippling despair and panic started before ayahuasca. If anything, it's given me a connection and showed me who I am, but I started to do research on like what exactly is happening in this world, and I started to really dive deep about like energetic parasites or entities or stuff like this, and I just knew that something was like attacking me. Something is fucking with me. And I believe some of the largest, biggest, powerful light workers are just being bombarded by dark energies because they don't want the light to win. And so, I started to really understand what's happening, or at least think I understand what's happening. I do believe there's like this matrix grid. People talk about a matrix grid of energies and entities and powers that be that are trying to just keep humans in the matrix, keep them slave. But so I do know that something is fucking with me. So anyway, at this point, I'm just so exhausted. It's been 2.5 years. I've tried everything. I've given my whole being, my whole life to healing, and I'm exhausted. And I think my next step is to go to Costa Rica and do iboga because I just feel like I need a reset. I feel like, when people say it's a shortcut, hallucinogens are a shortcut, and they're not. You can do it on your own, but this level and the amount of years of faulty patterns, I mean, I find it near impossible to break free from it without a hallucinogen. I don't know why I'm so attracted to them, but I just feel trapped. I really do. So, basically, this is going to sound crazy, and this may make me sound schizophrenic, but I had believed that there was an entity living on me. I could feel it in my body. It would sometimes whisper in my ear. I could feel this other presence inside of me, a demon living inside my body. And I had gone to an entity clearer, and he helped me activate my pineal gland. And in the course of 5 sessions, we actually cleared this thing. And I do feel significantly different since the clearing. I feel like there was certain pathways that I was going down that were like non-stop, and those have stopped. But I've created such a nightmare of habitual patterns and fears and inability to be present and inability to enjoy this realm that it's like the removing of the entity only did so much, only peeled one layer. And I just, so at this point I'm totally broke, completely broke. And I would just put this trip on my credit card to try and get some sort of stability, to try and survive. I just feel like I'm just trying to survive. Maybe I'll put this on like a crowdfunding site, try and get some funding, try and get just a little bit of money from a bunch of different people could help tremendously. I really feel like I have a massive gift to share with the world. I have this huge blockage. I have this huge thing stopping me. I don't know what it is. And, I've been through some serious traumas in my life, but I think something must have happened to me at the age before I could even remember that's preventing me from really just being at peace, just being settled in my body. So, and then also just, I hope anyone else who's dealing with this, man, just fucking, let's not give up. Let's keep fighting. Keep fighting for the light. Because there's so many years of faulty blueprints, faulty programming, conditioning for life that it's just not correct for happiness. It's wrong. And just look at the state of the world. Just look. Sometimes I look around and I just see aliens all over. I really just see aliens. Just people totally stuck in their thoughts, totally believing everything that's going on up here. And it's scary. It's really scary. But I do believe that we have the power as individuals to change it. I do believe that. And there's so much more to my journey that I didn't share. So much more. Like details. I actually have a journal somewhere on my computer. Maybe if there's anything really interesting here, I can share it before I end the video. But yeah, just simple stuff like this, like total grinding. I grind my teeth every night. Night terrors almost every night. My dentist said that 2 of my teeth are as if I was like a 70-year-old man. Just this like non-stop rumination. Oh yeah, and like this like basically when I eat, and this is still right now, like when I eat, if I have negative thoughts or if I'm in this place of panic, I literally, all of my food just ferments in my stomach and I poison myself. It's like auto-intoxication. It's fucking torture. But fasting is exhausting, so it's like there's no way out. that's just another. I just have so many ridiculous things that to me are just my life, but I know to other people when I tell them, they're just like, that's fucking crazy. So maybe I'll share another video at some point soon. I'll see if anybody resonates with this or can get any insights from this. But the bottom line is, look, mental illness is very, very, very complex. Something is going on. Massive, massive scale of information that we don't know about. If you think about it, we can't even hear a dog whistle. We can't even see. We can't see 99% of the spectrum of light. What makes us think that we have everything figured out with Western science? I think life is this infinity sign, and we are only experiencing and understanding this bottom half. But there's a whole other simultaneous world that's happening. The spiritual world is happening every moment, and we just have no idea how to navigate it. And which is reason for this massive scales of depression and anxiety and killings and starvation and just war and famine and all this nonsense going on in the world. But one thing I know for sure is at our core we are infinite love and joy and peace and compassionate, sharing, caring spirits inside this human experience. That I know for sure. I haven't gotten there yet, but I fucking know for sure. And yeah, I don't know what's next for me. I'm thinking I go to Costa Rica for iboga. I really am, because at this point in time, it feels like every day I'm suicidal and just panic, and I just don't know how much longer my body can take this. So I wish there was a happier ending. I really wanted to wait and share my story once I did achieve this happy ending to this crazy journey. But fuck it, something just compelled me to share. So yeah, everyone hang in there. Love yourself every moment. Love. It's the only thing we have. Breath and love for ourselves. Compassion for ourselves. All right. Take care, everybody.